Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the verge of something crazy happening here. If you guys been following my channel, you guys know that I've been talking about the setup for quite some time. It I am not just talking about this today because we're seeing a huge green candle on the weekly time frame, on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. And of course, Bitcoin is still the driver of this crypto markets. If Bitcoin pumps, if it has more room to pump, that is very good for a lot of these altcoins. However, if Bitcoin dumps, that's not going to be good for a lot of these altcoins. But right now, we're seeing a major bullish move here that could push us to new all-time highs. Not just for Bitcoin this time, but also for the altcoins. The altcoins are very close to their previous all-time highs. It has retested. It has tested new all-time highs before. I'm talking about Ethereum has almost touched 5,000. Total 3 basically try to break above 1.15 trillion, was unsuccessful last time, but this time is looking more like it's gonna do it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look into the charts. We're gonna take a look into the news. We're gonna respond to viewer comments as well. So let's go ahead and dive into this video because I think it's going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be I haven't had this much of a good mood for a little while. I've been doing these videos through consolidation times, through boring times, through bad times for the past couple of months, right? I think this is probably one of the best days in the past couple of months. I would say to you guys about that. Let's go ahead and dive into some news first. Okay, some news first. First of all, this one is by You Today. Breaking Bitcoin reclaims 120K is all-time highs next. Well, as you guys see price action like this in the markets, you're gonna see a lot of bullish news, and then when you see dumps, you're also gonna see a lot of bearish news. But I think it's more important to stay focused on what the setup is saying, right? To anticipate these bullish news and not to feel with the markets. Of course, I feel with the market today because I've been anticipating this move, right? But don't get carried away with emotions. I still keep it real with trading realistically and managing risk. Okay. I do think there is a pretty good chance that all time highs is next. We're not even far away from the previous all time high, which was 125K, right? So I do think we're gonna see some pretty bullish price action coming up pretty soon. All right, next piece here is by the Block. J.P. Morgan sees Bitcoin hitting 165K by year end on retail led debasement trade. Let's read some of this because I think it could be pretty interesting. Bitcoin could climb to 165K by year end, according to JP Morgan analysts who say the world's first and largest cryptocurrency is undervalued relative to gold on a volatility adjusted basis. Okay, so I do think that Bitcoin has been just running within a pretty tight range. We haven't really seen anything crazy like 2021, 2017 yet. I do think that is coming up, okay? I do think that is long overdue for Bitcoin because we've been just running within a pretty tamed manner, okay? It's been boring. It's been a lot of consolidation. It's shaken out a lot of traders in this market. But I do think we're still very early in this bull cycle, and we still have not gotten to the best parts of it yet, okay? Of course, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinions on this market is bullish right now. But of course, like the entirety of this video, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. You guys gotta form your own opinions and strategies. Let's go to the next piece here. By Cointelegraph. Bitcoin bulls charge at 120K with traders expecting new all-time highs. It's just really hard to find bearish news on a day like this, even though I would like to hear what the bears have to say, right? Because I read both. If you guys been following my channel, I read both bullish and bearish news. I like to keep an open mind, see what makes sense from the other side's argument, right? Because sometimes it could still, sometimes it could check you, right? You need to get a reality check. And I am open minded. I am open to getting one. But I'm also going into these headlines with a critical mind. All right, Bitcoin bulls charge at 120K with traders expecting new all-time highs. Key points: Bitcoin aims for 120K reclaim as bullish momentum continues as at the Wall Street Open. Traders are eager for price discovery, seeing this as increasingly likely. Yes, I do think it's increasingly likely. RSI heads higher with price without sparking a sustained support retest. Not really sure what he's talking about. I don't see weakness in the RSI. I do study the RSI. Okay, that is one of my primary indicators for trading. Let's come over here to the charts and I'll show you guys what I'm seeing here on this weekly time frame. I talked about this short squeeze. Basically, the bears got faked out. They thought this bearish pattern was going to break to the downside, which the probabilities are in favor of. And you guys should still continue to look out for rising wedges because they are still bearish patterns that has a higher chance of breaking down. However, the bears basically got faked out and the bulls bought it right back up. And when that happens, short sellers are gonna, they're gonna get scared, right? Because I have short sold before, not in this cycle. Not lately so far, but I have been on the short side, more particularly in the bearish, in the bear markets, right? And I'm looking to short in the bear markets, but basically, this is what happens. This is the psychology, right? The bears will try to break down from this pattern, and then you see the bulls buy it right back up, and that basically hits the short sellers' stop losses, and they basically buy this thing back and increases the buy pressure, right? That's why we're seeing a lot of these bearish divergences on the smaller time frame, hourly time frame, just getting invalidated. Now, this is the last level, okay? Last range here is going to be about anywhere from 120 to 125K, but not really much resistance there, okay? I do see a possible cup and handle pattern that is in development, right? It's still, I don't think it's too early to say, but it's not completely formed, but I do think that is a scenario, right? At with the resistance being at about 125K. So that is basically what I'm looking at, and I still say to be a little careful until bulls actually break out of this rising wedge pattern, which will more likely be pretty crazy because if bulls break out of a bearish pattern, that is going to be looking very bullish for Bitcoin and of course the altcoins as well. Let's go ahead and take a look into Total 3. Been talking about this for some time. This is a cup and handle pattern for the people who doubt an alt season is coming. This is a cup and handle pattern on the monthly time frame. There is bearish divergence on the monthly time frame, but I've seen bearish divergences get invalidated, namely when there are big breakouts happening. Okay, could this be it? I would say more likely than not, right? If we actually take a look back in 2021, 2017, I have seen these bearish divergences get invalidated. So something to be keeping an eye out on because they could still mean there's going to be a pullback. But if Bitcoin continues this trajectory, I would probably say this is more likely to happen, that there's going to be a breakout here and bearish divergence could get invalidated. Now, let's take a look into the price target here for Total 3, okay? Price target. It's going to be about 2 trillion price targets if Total 3 breaks out of this cup and handle pattern, which is a bullish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. Now, this could do some significant moves, especially for some of these smaller altcoins, okay? Now let's go ahead and go to. I'm gonna react to some viewer comments for you guys because there are questions that I would like to answer. Right. So let's go to some viewer comments. All right. So some latest comments. Okay, it will explode. Okay, this is talking about optimism. I do think that quite a bit of these altcoins, most if not all of these altcoins, I would say most of these altcoins are going to be exploding. Okay, um, because that's just how it is. You know, going back to 2021, I don't think I found an altcoin that has been around since January 2021. That was the start of the bull market, right? That has not surged with Bitcoin. Okay. Um, so, I mean, if you find one that meets those conditions on the charts, let me know because I would like to study it. But otherwise, I don't think I found an altcoin um, that has not surged at least to a multiple, right? When Bitcoin started its bull cycle back in January 2021. All right. So this another viewer, thank you. Okay, of course. This one here says great video, brother. Yesterday, another video for crypto said GRT is potentially going to 75 cents by the end of 2025. What do you think about that? Let's go ahead and take a look into GRT. Okay. Um, now I do want to mention that when I listen to other YouTubers projections, what I think about is what is their methodology, right? That is something I think about things with a critical mind. Okay, when I watch another YouTuber's projections, I ask myself, what is their methodology? Number one, um, how strong is their argument, right? Because that matters, right? Let's take a look into GRT here. GRT, in order for it to go to 75 cents, that's almost maybe a 10x, okay? Almost a 10x, okay? So a 10x, now, like, so I haven't seen this YouTuber's video, right? So I don't know what their methodology is for projections. So I don't know about that, but how strong of an argument is it for GRT to 10x? Okay, let's look at it from last time. Okay, I don't know the tokenomics of GRT currently versus last time, but last time it went from about 3 cents to almost $3. Okay, that is crazy. I mean, could it do it? Yes, but the argument is based on what happened last time, and of course, past performance does not equate to future performance. Okay, so I mean, just take that with a grain of salt, right? So just based on what it did last time, it could, but I don't think that's strong enough of an argument for me, right? To just sit here and wait for that to happen. I like to risk manage, right? I like to compound my profits, especially on my spot positions. So I like to wait for maybe 3 to 5x because I have seen that happening on a personal observation level. So I mean, I don't think I would just sit here and wait for a 10x. I think I would like to compound off 3 to 5x's depending on the market cap and setup of my spot positions. So I hope that answers your question. If you have any further questions, I would go ahead and answer them. I would pick a video and answer them. So let's go ahead and go to some altcoin setups now. Altcoin setups. AIOZ. I also want to mention that I based my predictions of technical analysis price movements, right? Price targets. I think those are going to be a lot stronger arguments, but not saying that, of course, the price targets could get invalidated. Okay. All right, let's go to AIOZ before we run out of time. This is the weekly time frame for AIOZ. This is a falling wedge pattern. price target for this falling wedge pattern is going to be about 57.5 cents for AIOZ. I do also want to mention that there has been some patterns that has been invalidated here and on other charts. So you guys can check back for reference. So let's go ahead and go to Tars AI. What's happening with Tars AI? Quite a few things here. So I talked about a falling wedge pattern on the 3-day time frame, more noticeably, right? I have recharted Tars AI. There has been an update on some of the charts there because some of the charts did get invalidated, right? Price target here would be about, if it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about almost 15 cents Tars AI. Now that is a short-term target, right? There could be more, there could be less. Very much depends on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin has more room to run, then that's going to be good for a lot of these altcoins. However, if Bitcoin dumps, then these altcoin setups, they're not going to matter very much. Let's go ahead and go to a smaller time frame and see if I see anything else for Tars AI. No, nothing else. It's basically almost running to the end of this pattern here, almost, for Tars AI. So something to be keeping an eye out on. AI16Z, I do have a long position, leverage position in AI16Z. Let's take a look here on this weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. This is a falling wedge pattern, a bigger falling wedge pattern. I have recharted this pattern as well. And price targets for this bigger falling wedge pattern here. You basically take the opening of the pattern and then you put it on top of an estimated breakout point, which would be about 68 cents Tars AI, which is still pretty significant. I am looking to take a short-term profit on my long position on this coin here, so I'm probably not going to hold it until then. I'm going to get in and out and look for opportunities, appropriate times to get in and out of, okay? So let's take a look into the patterns that are within AI16Z right now from within this bigger falling wedge pattern. I talked about a smaller falling wedge pattern here that broke out back in July, right? It has not quite met its price target of about 30 cents, but this breakout is still valid. It has formed a smaller falling wedge pattern here since, and it broke out back on September 8th. And the price target here is going to be about 17 cents. Quite a bit of daily moving averages that are going to be overhead resistance right now to be looking out for, okay? So this is basically what I'm seeing for AI16Z, Tars AI, and AIOZ. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, questions, comments, or any other requests in this market. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis.